Welcome to the Coriolis Effect with Cory Oliver.
Hi guys, I'm Cory Oliver. Thanks for watching the Coriolis Effect. Please hit the subscribe button below, and we hope you like this episode. Hi guys, we wanted to announce that like many podcasters, we just started a Patreon account. Visit our page at patreon.com/the Coriolis Effect. We have 5 different levels of membership and offer early access to episodes, behind-the-scenes footage, bonus episodes, shoutouts, and much more, including personal phone calls, questions and answer sessions, and live chats with Bob and me. That's patreon.com/the Coriolis Effect.
We'd like to take a quick break and thank Down to the Wire for sponsoring today's episode. You can find their podcasts such as Down to the Beat and Down to the City weekly on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But today, we'd like to specifically talk about their Down to the Beat podcast, which covers rising artists from the underground scene and offers fresh takes on the music industry, as well as moments in time that are important for appreciating the hip-hop culture as a whole. Listen every Thursday for insights into the rap community from 2 hosts who genuinely care about what their audience takes away from each episode. Check them out on their YouTube page, DTTW Entertainment, and visit their website, www.dttwentertainment.com, to learn more about the brand and its podcasts.
Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Cory. How are you?
I'm really doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Really?
So what's up with you?
Well, not much. I just noticed that my fairy tale book by Anita Pointer and Fritz Pointer is now off of my desk here and over on that table. And I'm feeling like I really want it by me because...
Okay. When we do the interview, I'll make sure it's back on the desk.
Okay.
I would get it now, but that would require me to be on
Baio.
camera. I'm sorry, are we bothering you? You need to use
No,
your phone?
no, not at all.
Are you taking up too much of your time?
No. Have you ever had, just since we're talking, have you ever had nervous laughter?
Sometimes.
Yes or no?
I think my nervousness manifests in other ways, but yeah, sometimes.
It does?
Yeah. You nervously laugh all the time.
I've gotten it twice.
Well,
I've
you
had
get the
it really
giggles.
bad twice. I had it once at my first wedding, really bad in the middle of the
Really?
wedding. Yeah, in the middle of the wedding, I got really bad nervous laughter. Really bad. And Jonathan was so mad at me.
At the altar?
Yes. He was so seething. And then I actually had it, I had it at a funeral.
You had nervous laughter at
It
a
was
funeral?
my grandfather's funeral, who is he is the most amazing man. He was the most amazing man. And, you know, I was very sad. And I didn't understand. I'd never been to a Catholic funeral before. And so I was sitting next to my dad, and they do the Hail Mary for all the beads on the rosary. And I didn't understand that. I really truly didn't. And so I was like, why do they keep repeating themselves? And then it turned into this like moment of
1 Our Father, 10 Hail Marys.
nervous laughter. Right. And I don't know. I just was, looking at Tinks down there.
I had it, I don't know if it was a nervous laughter, but when Jonathan was getting baptized, I was in a front row sitting next to my father, and I thought I told the story before, but I looked at the, what's the little circular they give about the next week of what's going on in the church, right? And it was, it was a Saturday night sermon, Jesus Walks on Water. Sunday morning sermon, Searching for Jesus. And I showed it to my dad, and we just started cracking up. Now, my mom
cute.
was very religious, straight. Was like, man, we're just dying laughing. So.
Oh, yeah. No, I could see that.
And then once the giggles start,
I can't stop them. Yeah. It's just so, it's like,
a lot of our bloopers reels where you're giggling.
It's a real thing,
yeah.
Nervous laughter.
Nervous laughter?
Nervous laughter, but...
That's the Chinese version of it, or Japanese version.
Okay, all right. Well, let's not insult our fellow
It's not insulting.
Bob.
It's just stereotypical. Go ahead.
What? I'm just notating things.
I need a new producer.
My book right now. No, but I love a good comedian. And so our guest today is Bob Zany, American stand-up comedian and actor. And he actually was on, and I'm going to talk about this with him, one of my favorite shows, The Gong Show. Remember The Gong Show?
Yeah. Chuck Berry.
My gosh, he was on The Gong Show. He was on the Jerry Lewis
He was a
telethon.
judge on The Gong Show, or he was
No, he was
a
on
comedian?
it. He was a comedian on the Gong Show. I will have to ask him because I really didn't elaborate. I was just like, oh my gosh. Brought me back because they used to take this big gong and do the Gong Show. Remember that?
Well, it's, okay, so people don't realize this, but America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent, they're all an offshoot of the Gong Show.
Of course.
And the way the Gong Show worked is you had 3 celebrities, and there'd be one gong. So instead of everybody having a buzzer, if you couldn't get through your act, they would gong you, and then. But it was Chuck Woolery, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And did you see his movie?
No.
So after 10, 15 years after the Gong Show was off the air, Chuck Woolery, was it Chuck Woolery? One of them was the dating game, and one of them was...
No, the dating game was Chuck Woolery, because I used to do his hair and makeup.
So this is Chuck somebody, because Chucky.
Nice guy.
Right. But anyway, the guy from the Gong Show wrote a movie about him being a hired killer in the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
And he marketed it as, no, this is my real life story. And then I took the Gong Show as a cover and everything out, and he was supposed to be an assassin.
Yeah.
And people weren't sure if it was real or not. And he would come out and say it was real, but the CIA can pretend it's fake. Yeah, it was very, very cool.
Well, for me, I really believe this, and I've said this before. We had my dear friend Jay Davis on the show, who is a comedian, very funny. But laughter really is the best medicine, and it really can.
Antibiotics is the best medicine.
It really can pull you out of a really sad spot, and even if you just, there have been moments. In fact, this is a true story. After my second marriage, and I was really just really hurting. I'm through that and over it, and grateful now. But my friend called me, and she said, "You know what?" And I was like, face in pillow, crying, and she said, just follow the Bonnet Chronicles on Instagram. And Tammy Roman is her name, and she's one of the funniest people. So I followed her Instagram, and she had just started this Instagram. And every morning I would wake up, this is true, and I would feel that heaviness of heartbreak, and then I would grab my phone and I'd look at the Bonnet Chronicles, and she would just make me laugh. Oh, good. And it started off my day, with the tryptophan that is released from the whole, thing that, or dopamine or whatever it is, that dopamine that is
Tryptophan
released.
is when you eat turkey.
That's right. Thank you. Okay. Well, you know me now. By now, it's the exact opposite of what I say.
Tryptophan, go right back to bed.
But it did really pull me out of that.
Are you blaming your dyslexia on tryptophan and dopamine?
Yeah. Everything.
Because dopamine spelled backwards is tryptophan. Which, by the way, I meant to tell you, you have a common saying.
Okay,
that dog spelled backwards is...
God.
Yeah, and you believe that.
It is.
Okay. Well, in Russia, the word for dog is sobachka, which is basically S-O-B-A-K-A. So dog spelled backwards in Russia is acabos.
Okay, well, I meant
in Spanish, it's orep.
I can't believe you took the time to actually research this. Okay, and I still don't have my videos? That's hilarious.
I got you off point.
Thank you for completely jacking me up, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh no, Bonnet Chronicles. Laughter, comedian, because we have a comedian on today.
Right.
It just does lift your spirits.
Yes.
And
he's very funny.
He's very funny, and
he does the Zany Report. It's
a
news report. Yes.
Yes. And
he's got a new. I don't know if it's new, but he's got a special on Drybar. Which, by the way, the Drybar comedy. It's a club in Utah. And there's just some of the most amazing comics are on there. And Bob Zany's got I think it's a 45-minute set. I
always think that first of all, and I'll say this again, I'll repeat myself, it really is truly one of the hardest jobs in Hollywood to be a comedian. Yes,
oh, absolutely.
Without a doubt. Right. And if you can interact quickly and, with just wit and humor with the audience, you've arrived, right? And he does a great job at that. He's very, very, they call him the most sarcastic comedian. And he is very sarcastic, but he's very funny at the same time. Right. So he's kind of like you.
Yeah, he starts out the show saying, I was asked by producers to take out all the the racially sensitive and all the problem jokes. So I've taken them all out of my act. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Yeah. I know. I thought that was funny. Yeah, he's very, very funny. So I'm excited to have him. And, yeah.
Okay, I did it again. Boy, it's easy to throw you off your game.
It's one of those days.
Here comes your nervous laughter. Yes. Oh, we're going to do it on air. And you can't hear this, but she laughs very quietly. If you could see, she's laughing hysterically and can't stop. And pretty soon there's going to be a big... See?
Stop it.
I'm trying.
It's not funny, Bob.
Okay. Don't think of anything funny. Think of everything I say. None of it's funny.
I swallowed my own spit. Ooh, and then I just spit.
Okay. This show is going downhill.
I know. Sorry, people. Okay, well, we'll just come back.
Okay. We will see you in 5, 4,
2 and
3,
2, as Chuck Woolery would say.
Now, is that Chuck Woolery?
Yeah, it's the dating game.
Wasn't the dating.
It was
the
Love
dating?
Connection.
Love Connection,
actually.
right.
We'll see you in 2 and 2.
But it wasn't Chuck.
2 and 2.
Okay, Chuck Berry was
It was
the...
100% Chuck Woolery because I actually did his makeup on a show called The Home and Family Show.
So Chuck Berry is a singer.
Chuck Berry is a singer.
Right. Now,
Chuck Woolery is the game show host.
Yeah, but
and
who's the
actually, a
Gong
little
Show?
fun fact about Chuck Woolery is he
Yes.
actually came here to be a singer. He was in a band.
Chuck Woolery became a singer?
Yeah, he was a singer. He came here to sing. And he told me, he's actually responsible for telling me. And it was valuable information. And I used that information. I recalled it when I was contemplating doing Beverly Hills Pawn because I really didn't want to do a reality show. And he said, years ago, he said, whatever door opens, stick your foot in it. And I recalled that piece of information, and, as it stands, it wasn't necessarily a bad idea. Whatever door opens in this industry, stick your foot in it, with exceptions of, if it's anything bad, you don't want to do that. But because he did. He was a singer in a band, and then he ended up landing Love Connection, and he did a lot of other game shows, and was a very successful host for many, many years. And he's a great guy, by the way.
Chuck Barris was the Gong Show.
Okay, Chuck Barris is the Gong Show. Chuck Woolery was Love Connection, and many other.
And Chuck Berry is the guitar-playing singer.
Right.
Okay. And we'll see you soon.
Okay. Do you know an extraordinary child, a budding superstar who is ready to take on the world and who loves to have fun? If so, he or she deserves a chance to shine at a children's business fair, a one-day event where young people can launch and showcase a business. You'll be amazed by what children can accomplish, and it's a great way to bring neighbors together amid sunshine and laughter. At a children's business fair, children will make something with their own hands, sell it safely, and experience the freedom of having a little extra spending money as a reward. It takes less than 10 minutes to apply and as little as 3 hours to plan a fair. Just set up a few tables on a lawn and send a few emails to friends and family. You can host a fair for free, and we'll even chip in up to $500 of prize money. Sound too simple? Join parents who want to equip and inspire their children to shine in the real world. Start your audition to host a children's business fair in your community, or find out more at podcast.childrensbusinessfair.org.
And let's start the show.
Today we have, me and comedians. I love comedy.
I love me some comedy.
I do. I really, really do. And I was just saying in our pre-interview that, laughter is the best medicine. And it doesn't matter really what you're going through. If you turn on comedy, it releases that dopamine in your brain. And
not tryptophan?
Yes, not tryptophan. But today we have a very special comedian who is considered and labeled the most sarcastic comedian. He has actually on one of my favorite shows, the Gong Show. He did in, 1976, I think. And what's that?
77. Let's keep
77.
this real.
Sorry.
Let's don't
You're
make
right.
me
Sorry.
that old. I'm only 59.
Yeah, he's not that old. He's not 76 old.
Well, it's Bob Zany is in the. Oh, well, he's not in the house. He's on our Zoom,
He's
which
in the
I'm
Zoom?
so bummed because I thought he was going to be in the studio today. I was so excited to formally meet you, but it's lovely to meet you via Zoom. I know you got out of Dodge here, and you're somewhere else.
Had to. It was time. It got so bad. We used to be able to keep the key to the house under the mat on the front porch. Turned out Matt was a homeless guy sleeping there. Crime was bad too. We had gotten a new security system. What we did is we played Fox News 24/7, so everybody thought we had a gun.
Yeah.
And the funny part is the neighbors watch MSNBC were robbed 4 times.
Oh my gosh. I went to bed with, this sounds terrible. I went to bed with you last night. But I have my iPad and it sits on my bed. And so I was watching all of you're hilarious. I was laughing out loud, and my dad and my stepmom were in the other room, and they're like, who are you talking to? But I was actually watching all your videos.
You still live with your parents?
Yeah. Yeah. You are very funny.
You
and
never know the impact you have on people, when you're out there on the YouTube and all these other venues. But it is what it is. you were talking about Carrot Top. You were in. This is so exciting for me. You were in Chairman of the Board. Well, I don't know why that movie wasn't Oscar nominated. It sounds like it could get a Golden Globe now.
Yo, a Golden Globe, easy.
You guys are slaying me. That was not. No. That was one of my earlier roles.
I beat Carrot Top on Star Search. That's a true story. And
Did
if you go,
really?
Yes. And if you go see his show live at the Luxor here in Las Vegas, he plays the clip of me beating him on Star Search. So I'm in his show every night. So how about that?
No way. That's actually pretty cool. That's a fun fact. That's a really good fun fact.
I love fun facts.
He's actually a nice guy. He's very, very spirited and gifted in what he does. And I was not only in chairman of the board with him, but I did a AT&T commercial with him when they were doing those series of AT&T commercials that he was in.
Yeah.
And got to meet him. And we actually shot that particular one in Vegas. And my only criteria for that AT&T commercial was that I could rollerblade. And we didn't even end up rollerblading, which was kind of interesting.
And usually on your special skills, you lie. And this one you actually could do.
I know. You're right.
I put down flamethrower and animal balloons, and I can't do either.
Animal balloons. I actually put answering the phone on the first ring. And I'll tell you what.
That's good. That's actually
a skill.
Good. It's like when I'm talking to somebody in the audience, I'm doing my act, and I say, "What do you do?" And they say, "Customer service." And I always say, "Can you hold, please?" And I said, "It's irritating, isn't it?"
Yeah. Well,
there was a hurricane in Florida 4 or 5 years ago, and one of the guys who worked for the governor had on his resume he could sign. So they put him on air on TV with the governor, except he couldn't sign. He knew a little bit of it. So as he's signing, everybody who can sign knows he doesn't know that. He didn't know the word for hurricane, but he knew the word for monster. So every time the governor said it's a horrible hurricane destroyed the city, you go, sign, it's a horrible monster that destroyed the city. And it was very funny.
That is very funny.
Well, it is funny, but it's also true. I've lived through a hurricane. It's a monster. You know what I'm thinking about these times? It's really a horrible time to be a lip reader.
Yeah. The mask and all that's hilarious.
Yes.
I was just saying.
Because remember, Cory, jokes are always funny when you explain them.
I know. Well, I wanted to explain it to you because you had this blank look on your face, Bob. But Bob, I don't know who I'm talking to today because you're both Bobs. I'm going to say Bob Z.
Zany. Just call me Zany.
I'll call you Zany. I was talking to Bob about this, Zany, and I'll finish this thought and then we'll go to our word of the day.
Okay, I do that off camera so you don't have to tell the people on camera that I'm giving you a cue.
Okay. All right. Well, I was just saying to Bob that comedy is literally one of the hardest things in entertainment to do and achieve. And one of the things I loved about your shows that I watched are you're really great, amazing, awesome at interacting with the audience, and that's very difficult. If you can own a room like that, then you've really, it's like you've arrived. And it's a stressful gig. People think it's, you get up there and you're funny, because you are gifted and naturally funny, but it's not as easy as it looks, Well,
it took years to get to that comfort level. The whole reason I became a comedian was in high school I could go up to a group of kids and make them all laugh, but to translate that to a stage time, that took me 10-15 years to get that comfort level. But I heard something about 10 years ago that might help you out. When you're up there, you're the leader of the group. So once you're the leader, you're in charge. Now, it's okay. Now, if someone heckles me and they get a laugh, I'm fine. That's one less joke I have to do. I've done this long enough. You get your little laugh. But at the end of the day, you're the leader and it's your show. And it's okay if other people get laughs. We're all in. I hate that term. We're all in this together. But with comedy, you want everybody laughing. And still, there's going to be one person who's going to be angry and at you or whatever, but they shouldn't be out.
Right. No, you're right.
You tell them, you're funny too, but you're not getting paid $25 to be up here.
Yeah. Hey, who books that gig?
Yeah.
So we have a word of the day, Mr. Zany, and Bob is going to play that right now, and you get to guess it.
I'm going to give you a word of the day. This is a phobia. You have to tell me what phobia this is.
Gelotophobia.
Every time.
Gelotophobia.
Gelotophobia. Geloto phobia or gelatophobia.
A fear of Italian ice cream?
The fear of laughter.
Yes.
Oh.
I got it. I did not know this, Zany.
And it's the first one she's got. Well, second one you've gotten right in 35 episodes.
Are you
It's
serious?
Zany. He's good luck.
The fear of laughter.
Yeah, fear of laughter.
Well, you know why I probably didn't know the
Gelotophobia.
definition of that word is I don't have one.
You don't have
Yeah,
it.
right, exactly.
See, if I
Yeah.
knew that, then maybe I would have that same fear. You know, I have a.
Yeah.
It is. I'm happy for you, Corey. You got it.
I love you.
He looks happy for you,
Do
Corey.
get like
Zany-
a prize? Do you get to keep the prize? I was going to.
No, I get to.
She gets to do another show.
I get to do another show. Bob Zany, are you? I'm just gonna say your full name because we have two Bobs here. But Bob Zany, are you? Tell me. I want to know about you.
Yeah.
I love to learn about people and what drives them and why they chose what they do and who are some of the comedians that influenced you along your way?
Well, I you know who Johnny Carson is, I hope.
Yeah, of
Okay.
course. Yes.
Johnny was funny when a joke wasn't. And to me, that's a true comedian. Steve Martin, when I was in high school in the late 70s, he was the guy. And I kind of model myself to the other kids that way, because when you first start out, you emulate somebody. And the coolest thing about that was in 1985, Steve Martin was an executive producer of a show called George Burns Comedy Week. And it was George Burns, the cigar guy. Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an anthology series. I got a role on it, and I got to meet Steve. So how cool is that? Like 6 years out of high school.
That's
amazing.
amazing.
Not only do I meet the guy, I work for the guy. So he's one of them. And Rodney Dangerfield, of course.
Oh,
Rodney,
my gosh.
I did his HBO special, but I worked for Rodney for 2 years. I booked his club in Vegas and in Century City. So I learned a lot from Rodney, and he was a very interesting guy, and he loved young comics, didn't care for the older guys.
Yeah.
Well, that was a show, Young Comics, right?
Well, it was Rodney. The one I did was the Rodney Dangerfield's really big show. It was the last special that he did on HBO, because by the time we did it, it was like 91. Every channel had a stand-up show. So it was back then, clubs were talking about going out of business because people would just stay home and watch stand-up on TV. And I would tell them, there's nothing like live, and obviously
There's really not.
Yeah.
they were wrong. And I'm seeing now that places that are opening up, people want to go out. They want to get back to going out. So I don't think it's going to die.
I don't think so either. Do you know a friend of mine, Jay Davis?
Yes, I do. He was the guy at the Laugh Factory for a long time.
Yeah.
When I was doing spots there. And stuff.
Blinking. Yeah.
He owes me $40.
What's that?
How is Jay? Have you talked to him recently?
I do. I have known Jay for 30 years.
Oh, so
Almost
he was a
30 years.
babysitter.
No.
I'm doing the math here.
Actually, no. Well,
You know what I like to do,
yeah.
Bob, you're going to love this. I love doing math in my head because millennials stare at you like you're a wizard.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
No, he doesn't. All he
Yes,
has
he
to
does.
do is realize
He
that you
thinks
were chairman of the board, and he does the math, figure you're at least 20,
I could have
25,
been
and
a
you did that. It makes you
Fetus
74.
and chairman of the board. So, Bob Zany, tell us. So you are now in Vegas, correct?
Yeah.
And are you? Oh,
Are you funny in
He's
Vegas?
gone blue now completely. Are you? I'm gonna look at this way.
I'm
Are
here
you?
to listen
Are you doing any shows there? What's the climate like?
No, they won't
socially.
hire me here in Vegas. I have to drive to LA every night and do a $25 spot. Of course, I'm doing shows here.
Well, I mean, that's the most sarcastic answer I've ever had, which is why you're labeled the most sarcastic comedian.
It's one way to look at it. Hey,
Well, I actually didn't ask. I was asking just if the world has opened up there because it's
starting
COVID
to.
and all.
the Laugh Factory actually opened up again in November. I did the opening week. I was at Brad Garrett's about a month and a half ago. It's reopened. I'm going to be doing the LA Comedy Club at the Stratosphere, and I've been playing jokesters at Alexis Park. So, I mean, I go on the road is where my work is, and I'm starting to book up through September until October, November now, because this is a game that you have to book in advance anyway.
Yeah, you do. Do you know John Mendoza?
Yes, I do.
Okay, yeah.
You know I'm Bob
Those
Cheney.
are the two comics, you know?
Corey, did you
I know
I'm
you're Bob Cheney.
Bob
Zany. I
Cheney.
know you're
I'm
Bob
Bob
Zany. I'm
Cheney.
asking you these because I want to know if you've worked with any of them, and
I've worked
you
with
know,
all of them. I'm Bob
it's a
Cheney.
small world.
This is a show where we take a comic on and then promote every other comic.
No.
Yeah, I
That
really
is so
want to
not
talk about.
true.
I want to talk about John Mendoza's career after the sitcom. What happened? Look,
What happened?
nothing. I'm doing a pause. It's a comedic.
Bob, you are so funny.
My blue eyes are pretty good, huh?
They are,
Yeah.
pretty good. Yeah.
Nothing
So tell me then.
Nothing screams a
Let's-
midlife crisis like a goatee and a nipple rings.
Well, you're actually, that was funny last night. I actually wrote that down. But the thing about that statement is I'm actually very fond of goatees.
Oh, you are?
I like facial hair. Yeah, I do. Nipple rings, I don't know. That's not my thing. But goatees are, yeah.
I only like
they're
facial
my-
hair on cats and dogs. I love animals, but if you're hairless, I just can't get involved.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't either. I'm out too. I'll drop the mic on that one. So, Bob, tell me, let's go back early on. What inspired you to be a comic? You said in school you would make everybody laugh.
I think
And-
that was it. But the big one was that my dad was a house painter, and I had two brothers. And from age 5 to like 19, we would go with my dad to paint houses, and I'd be covered in paint at the end of the day, and I didn't like it. And I said, no, I think I could do something else. So I did this talent contest in West Covina, California one night. And after my show, I realized, hey, I don't have paint on me. I went to work and I don't have paint on me. So that's why I end up doing it, I think. That and I have no skills.
And yes, you do. You're very funny. My family heard me from the other room. I was laughing out loud by myself, which says a lot about my life. So I shouldn't admit that. But
It's much easier that way. Whenever I see somebody in the audience and they're there by themselves, I say, if you're not enjoying the show, you don't have to turn to anybody. You just get up and leave. It's so much easier.
oh my gosh. Well, what is it? What made you get up and leave LA?
It was just getting too much. It was just too much. It just wasn't. It's falling apart, and we need to be honest about that. And they're allowing it to just become Venezuela, and it is Venezuela now. And and now you've got people from Venezuela coming up through the border. How about that? How ironic is that?
Yeah,
So
it is.
You can't keep telling the people who pay the taxes and work hard that you're the problem.
Right,
That's
exactly.
right.
You
You're
can't do that.
absolutely right.
I don't care what political side of the aisle you're on, but you can't do that to people. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I love California. Are you kidding me? West Covina, baby.
Is that where you grew up?
That's where I grew up. I graduated in 1979 from West Covina High. I went to school with Nia Peoples. You ever know her of Nia?
Yes.
An actress, singer. She was class of 80, and she used to give me rides to school. And about 10 years ago, we actually starred in a film together with Eric Roberts called 23 Minutes of Sunrise, and we played husband and wife. How cool is that?
Are you kidding?
No,
That's a full circle moment.
That is a full circle moment, because she used to do shows with me at the Ice House in Pasadena when I did the Bob Zany show. And I invited everybody from West Covina to come out to see him, and she did a couple of them, and she went her way and became very successful. And I'm doing your podcast.
Oh my gosh. Thanks for that.
No problem.
Or even.
Use it as a
Okay, I won't drop any more names, I promise. Well, so then if I'm doing the math correctly, 1977 is when you did the Gong Show, which you were in high school then, because you graduated in 1979.
Yeah. People asked me, what did I do before I became a comic? I said I was a sophomore.
Yeah. But literally, you
Wait,
were.
who were the judges? Who were the judges on your Gong Show appearance?
Bob, this is the coolest thing about it, is that I didn't remember, because my Gong Show at the time did not air. It was preempted by a National League playoff game, because I think the Dodgers were in. So I never got to see the Gong Show until 10 years later in some late night TV. The judges were J.P. Morgan, which is cool, Pat Tolson, how cool is that? And and this is the best one, because I can actually say this. I've worked with Pearl Bailey.
Oh my God.
Pearl Bailey was one of the judges.
Wow.
And then it turns out, like 5-6 years later, one of my first road gigs, I opened for Pat Paulson in Bakersfield for a week. And I didn't remember who was my judge because I don't know why.
It's just,
and
that's
then
it, period.
Then when I did the Tonight Show 20 years later with Jay, I was actually in the studio where we did the Gong Show at NBC on the Tonight Show because they switched studios. How cool is that?
That's so
That
cool.
is cool.
That's so
You've
cool.
had a lot of full circle moments. But so then how did you get to the Gong Show? What was that? Was there an open call? Was this just something like everyone's... Okay.
Well, you would audition for the Gong Show. You would go in, and I put together some act I had never performed in my whole life. I always refer to, bands that are like a garage band. I was a bathroom mirror comedian before I started. So I practiced my act, and I went in, and I had to audition 3 times, and I finally got the show. And then I, like 2 days later, after I turned 16 is when I did it. So that was cool. But I also, the best part of the story is, well, there's 2. I auditioned 2 other times and didn't get it. The one time I really thought I should. I took a paper bag and I put it all over my body with just my head exposed. And I went on as the Unknown Comic's half brother.
I love the Unknown Comic. He was great.
That's hilarious.
And they wouldn't put you on for that? That's a perfect gag for that show.
I know. And the funny part is, talk about full circle, 10 years later, I ended up starring in a movie with Murray Langston and Linda Blair called Up Your Alley. And Murray's a dear friend of mine now.
Oh, my gosh.
But here's the other part. My dad would have to take me to the auditions, and we went to one of them. And my dad was always trying to be funny. I always say I get my tenacity for comedy from my father, and I get my wit from my mom. And my dad was goofing around in the lobby, and the security guard said, "You're funny. You should be on the show." He took him into the auditions, and my dad got the day and nighttime version of the Gong Show. And I don't know which one it was, but one of them, J.P. Morgan, gongs my dad, and my dad is always acting like a little child. He flipped her off on national TV.
No way. Oh, my gosh.
That's my puppy.
Oh, my goodness.
We were talking about, did you see Chuck Barris's movie where he was a CIA agent killing everybody?
Yes, I did. And I have a great story about that because Murray Langston was in it, as the Unknown Comic, as a talking head.
Right.
But originally, he was cast to be the Unknown Comic. Now, if you know, for the folks who are watching and listening, the Unknown Comic wears a paper bag over his head the whole time.
Yes.
Right.
They told Murray Langston they wanted to go with someone younger.
Yeah, you're just not right for that part.
They told the guy wearing a paper bag to put over his head to go with someone younger.
Yeah, no, I know.
The guy who got the part had the nerve to call Murray to see, how should I play this?
How does that even,
Really angered Murray, and George Clooney was an executive producer, and he's friends with George, so he called him up and complained, and that's how he got the part where he plays the Unknown Comic talking head part.
The George Clooney?
He produced that show?
That's cool. Executive producer on that.
Gosh. Oh, but that's a fun fact right there.
I was in, here we go. Here's some of my other films, Joe Dirt. I played...
that was a great film,
Number 1, but everybody who saw the performance thought it was number 2. And this is great. I'm in The Informant with Matt Damon.
Oh, that's a good one.
George Clooney is the executive producer on this. But in this film, I play Matt's attorney, so all my scenes are with Matt, and I think I made him a better actor.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure. We do too.
I can see your influence on it.
I mean, we agree.
As you can see, it's a rental, so I got to get it back to Blockbuster. And the only Blockbuster that's open still is in Fairbanks, Alaska. So
I
saw that movie, yes.
One. I saw that too. That was a great doc, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's on
another
Netflix.
great documentary is the one about Tower Records. Did you ever see that?
No.
No.
Do you know what Tower Records is?
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
They
Of
used to
course.
sell
So.
records. I had a line of postcards in the early 80s that I came out with called Greetings from Los Angeles, and they were a parody. And I put them in Tower Records. I gave them 400 on consignment, and I gave them a little stand. And, they were going for like $1 a piece, and I'd get 50 cents. So I went back 6 days later, and I said, "Where's my postcards?" And they're down there. they had sold out, and they threw the box down underneath. They sold out, and it was one of the few times in my life that I actually jumped up and down with joy.
That's actually a really cool story.
Hang on right there. I'll get a postcard to show you.
That's
Yeah, please.
so, you know,
Where's
that's
my $200?
But that actually it goes to that point of
memorabilia.
getting.
Look at
I know,
memorabilia.
of getting having a concept and bringing an idea and bringing it to a concept. Let me see. Let's zoom in on that.
Can you see?
Oh my gosh!
That's me.
Greetings from LA. Wait,
It says anywhere but Los Angeles. I got hitchhiking.
they sold out, huh?
Yeah,
So they're collector items now.
I ended up selling like 50,000 of them across the city. I had them in Oz and a whole bunch of places.
gosh.
So cool.
The funniest one part of this whole thing is you get right here where the stamp goes. Can you see that? I wrote no stamp needed if you don't mail it. I love putting little jokes and stuff, and it's up to the person to find it. Too bad I had to point it out to you guys.
Well, we couldn't really see the back,
And you wouldn't have gotten it anyway.
but you know that is.
But by the way, Bob, before we start the show, Cory and I do about a 5 or 10 minute intro. You had a joke at the end of your thing during the Zany Report that says, if I kill somebody who steals my identity, have I committed homicide or suicide?
Yeah.
I had Cory going through a whole story of somebody stole my identity, and it was somebody I knew. I met him. I pushed him. He fell. He got hurt in the hospital. And then he died, and the detective said, I can't charge you with homicide, but I will charge you with suicide. And she still didn't get it.
I was mortified. I was trying to
But
figure
I
out.
did give you credit for it because that was your joke.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
thank you.
very good.
There's jokes that I do I call thinkables. You have to think about them. And those are jokes for the soul. And then you have the dick jokes that actually buy you the house and the furniture.
Right. Do you, and not to name names because I don't know this guy. Do you remember a guy from 20, 30 years ago? He used to do a thing called joke grenades. He would tell a joke, then fake throw a grenade, and you'd get the joke like 10 seconds later. But a lot of your jokes are like that.
I remember that. I hope.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was, but yeah.
like that. But
Well, let me ask you, and forgive me if that I don't know this. I researched you a lot, but do you have children?
no, not that I know of. And
Okay.
I think people ask that because they're afraid that I'm breeding.
No.
My
No,
wife
I'm
and I-
not.
Actually, my wife and I chose not to have kids, and we've rescued
that's-
animals, dogs and cats
Yeah.
over the years. So yes.
The only reason why I asked that is because I often wonder, you know, comedians, do their kids think they're funny, or is it just like, oh, please, you know, he's not funny, right?
No, my friends who are comedians who have children say they don't think they're funny.
They don't think they're funny, yeah.
And they shouldn't. You know, their dad, their mom, you know, whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You know, and the reason why we chose not to have kids is we want the dysfunction to end with us.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, I'm going to do this early on in this podcast. I did a little show called Beverly Hills Pond.
And it's only 66 episodes, around for 5 years on
Well, it's
the
just
Reels
like, I
Network.
can't wait for this to end because I've been wearing this dress now for 17 years, but we're giving away this dress. I have 5 of them and I'm giving one of them away. And so I'm asking you, our guests, all day today, just give me one word that you can say the word and we'll have whoever's listening or watching post it in the comments and then we'll enter it in a drawing and then we'll.
Well, I know this is inappropriate, but I've been thinking of ways of getting that dress off you. Look,
Ever since I saw you, yeah.
let me
Like,
say
yeah,
this.
you're the only one who's had that thought.
Giving it away soon. I can't, trust me, I can't wait to get out of it. I'm just it's like, but do you have a word?
Here's the word. Ready?
Okay.
And one, capricious.
Capricious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look it up.
That's a great word.
Yeah. Well, I know a couple.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
You're not looking it up, are you?
I am. I want to give the actual definition.
Why don't you look it up?
Definition.
It's on the screen.
You have Bob.
I got you. I got you.
Doing nothing.
It's all.
I love you.
I had
Bob
to
Zany.
write.
Oh
Corey, the
my
word's on the
gosh.
screen right in front of you and the definition.
Where?
Right below. Look down. It's right there.
What?
It's right there.
It's been one of those days. You know, the thing about this whole great thing is that we have Bob Zany who knows what the word means and he's just waiting. He's just literally watching us, waiting to see what it means.
It took me years I remember seeing they used to show films in school before the politics of everything about how to learn. And they showed this film of a little girl, and whenever she heard a word she didn't know, she'd write it down and then look it up. And, there's certain words that you got to keep looking up because you forget. If you don't use it, you lose it.
That's true. You're very right. And capricious means
Moody.
given to sudden and unaccountable changes of mood or behavior.
Yeah, you're moody.
Oh, I'm not. I'm really not. But
You go from happy to really happy.
You react to it.
oh,
You get a little angry about that. I'm not. No, I'm not.
That's Tourette's. Well, thank you for that. We will. Whoever's
you're
listening,
welcome.
post that word.
He
You
could
could
play. Who's
actually make
the uncle
the
in the
audience
Tourette's movie?
He would actually, to be honest with you, I wrote a movie about Tourette syndrome, and you would actually be a very good Bill. He'd be the good Bill.
Yeah.
Very
The
good
uncle
Bill.
of the Tourette's girl.
Yeah,
No,
it's
have a really good podcast.
No, you have to walk around and say Bob Saget all the time.
Bob Saget.
I love
Oh,
Bob.
yeah.
I started out with Bob. And Bob,
Did you really?
This is for the kids who are in show business watching.
I just want to say I didn't bring his name up, just so you know.
Yeah,
No, go ahead.
way too many Bobs in the room. By the way, there's no more Bobs left, Bob. We're a dying breed.
You wait a minute. You were going to say something about Bob Saget, and I think I know what you were going to say, but go ahead.
I started out with at the Ice House, and he was already making some moves, but there was a point in his career he was ready to quit because it was going nowhere. The rejection is just overwhelming.
Right.
And then
It
he got,
really is.
he got America's Funniest People, and the rest is history.
And the funniest thing I think about him is he did Full House. He did America's Funniest Videos. His stand-up is one of the dirtiest stand-ups
Is it really?
out there. Oh, my God, yeah.
I've never seen his actual stand-up.
It's
And he
funny.
has all these
He's funny
really
as
clean
heck,
shows.
But he doesn't work blue. Or does he? Wait, blue is you curse, you don't curse. Blue is you curse, right?
Yeah, it's that,
Yeah,
and
he works blue.
He just was adult, and very very funny. And I used to host at the Ice House. He was the headliner, and he had one of those acts that you would mimic his cadence without even knowing it as a young comic, because you pick it up like a sponge, and you have to get rid of it, But he's a very
Wow.
Who are the young comics that you're working with that you think you're tutelaging or tootling? Tootling.
Well, our mentor or mentee, we can go with that. That could actually be a word to get that.
It's probably a better. Oh my gosh. That's called a callback.
It's a callback. By the way, I help out wherever I can. I've done a lot of these classes where people want to be a stand-up, and Leslie Norris has the Clean Comedy Challenge, and I sit in on some of those, and the young kids with a dream come up. And, one thing I always ask them is you got to find out why you're up there in the first place. Because a lot of people, they don't even know why, but they want to do it. And that took me a while. I think there's exceptions to the rule. There's Eddie Murphy, there's Chris Rock, and then there's the rest of us who have to work really hard and work it for 10 years before we really get what we're doing. But like Eddie Murphy was like 17 and he was a star. And it's amazing.
But there's really nothing like when you're up there and you're in that flow, and the audience it's just like one after another. I've not been up there, but I've been in the audience where you're just belly laughing, and it just keeps going and going, and you leave the venue just.
Yeah, and there's those type of laughs, and then the other laughs are the jokes you get like a half laugh, but those are the ones people remember and love. I'll give you an example. One of the jokes I do, and this is Rodney Dangerfield's favorite joke, when I'll never forget when I auditioned for him. I said, Bob Zany isn't my real name. My real name is Big Dick McGee. Now, but that would get a big laugh. That would get a half laugh of the audience, but that was the joke that everybody remembered. Roseanne loved that joke. In fact, I was doing warm-up for her sitcom, and she said, Bob, tell him your real name. And I said, can I do that?
Wow, that was a good impression of her.
Yeah, well, yeah. Anyway, so Roseanne, and I remember once these two people came up to me, and they said they met in a bar, man and woman, when it used to be that way. And they met in a bar, and they said, what's your name? And they said their names, and then in unison, they both, and these are two complete strangers, in unison said, but my real name is Big Dick McGee. And they got
That's brilliant. Yeah.
and they got
Wow.
married. So
No
you
way.
don't know the impact you have on people. So
You really don't.
Yeah, I always say that the jokes that really kill, people forget because they're so hard laughing. But that's more of a thinkable joke, you know? But I remember I had 3 jokes that Rodney liked in my 10-minute set for his HBO special. And man, that's the money piece, okay? Okay, man, it's the money piece. So
It is.
but he knew comedy.
Yeah, he did.
And I always thought that there should be like a organization that would pull all of you guys together and go to hospitals or just.
There is.
Well,
and
they do.
it's
They go
called-
overseas.
It could be a word to win your dress. It's called being committed,
Yeah.
Wow.
where we could all
Yeah.
go to hospitals. We were committed.
Yeah.
Wow, that one went right over your head.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Did you feel this?
I mean, I do
It
actually
means you have to be
feel the wind.
when you're
actually
committed, you
in
go to the
my
hospital.
hair.
Jokes are always
By the way,
funny
I
when
do
you explain
want to
them.
point out, since I have the time, I am selling off my showbiz and childhood memorabilia on Macari.
Let's see some of it.
Have you heard of Macari.com? MERCARI.com. Bob, get that up on the scroller when you show this. I'm selling off the Bionic Woman and the $6
Look
million
at
man
that.
comic books from the 70s. I call it his and hers because I'm not sure they're
way.
pronouns.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Those are cool. You know, I love Hollywood memorabilia.
These are from my childhood collection from when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. There's an ad for Stretch Armstrong on the back. How about
Oh, my gosh. Look at that. Wait, can you show us some more things that are on the
that? Well, they're over
on
in
the site?
But I'll tell you what. Why don't we do this? I'll put up as soon as we're done. I'm going to put up these 2 for sale. Joe Dirt and the Informant on DVD. I'll autograph them, and they can buy them there. Okay, how's that?
Yes.
And then somebody could buy it and then return it to the Blockbuster.
I would.
I think you will give him the dress. He can autograph it wearing my dress.
You want Bob Zany to wear your dress and autograph
Yeah,
it?
well,
I'm sure it'd fit my leg.
Oh my gosh. Well,
So what we wanted to talk about, what I want to talk about.
Let go of that one.
I'm not.
Yeah.
It has to.
Let's talk about the Zany Report.
Zany Report's my take on the news, and I have one right here if you guys are interested.
We are.
Yeah.
First up, Bill and Melinda Gates are getting a divorce. She said she doesn't plan on keeping his name, but all of his money.
Throws it away.
Is it too soon to refer to Melinda Gates as Bill's Xbox? A sad note, Paul Van Doren, the inventor of the world-famous Vans shoes, has passed away at the age of 90. Per his wishes, he'll be slipped into his coffin and lowered into his grave, no strings attached.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that, but that's a good one.
Hey, in Baltimore, trillions of cicadas are about to invade the city after 17 years of being underground. Vice President Harris has been put in charge of finding out the root cause of the invasion and has set up a meeting with the president of Middle Earth.
Oh my God.
And finally, now this is an interesting story. A bottle of wine that spent a year in outer space, this wine was up in the space station for a year, is expected to fetch $1 million at auction. Now, the only fear when the buyer sniffs the cork and they say it smells like Uranus. And that's the Zany Report.
Oh my gosh.
That's my take on the
Those are
news.
hilarious.
How do you go to a comedy club? You have Corey has a silent laugh.
No, here's the thing. I actually don't. To be honest with you, I have a really
I have 30
terrible
minutes
laugh.
of film showing you a
No,
silent laugh.
I try to hold it in because we have guests and I'm being very respectful, but my laugh is almost obnoxious and I sound like Minnie Mouse. And I've been told that I sound like Minnie Mouse. And so if I sat here and laughed out loud, Bob would have hung up by now, Bob Zany. You probably wouldn't be doing our 37th episode, and I'd have no friends. So I'm laughing inside, but I'm laughing. I'm laughing with you.
Well, as long as it doesn't affect you, the way you behave.
No, that would be capricious.
I'm kidding. It does.
Ah.
Oh,
Be
it
yourself,
does.
Cory. You have a great laugh. Let the world know who you are. Stop hiding from that, okay? You don't have to impress Bob anymore. Trust me.
Oh, trust me, I'm not.
That
not
ship has
trying
sailed.
to. Yeah, no, that's a real right.
But
Not
listen,
himself, not me.
Oh, sorry, first person. Yeah.
to me, it's about people. You know, I was doing a show the other night, and this woman came up to me and she said, "I have 15 cats." I said, "Wow, I have one." She said, "What's it called?" I said, "Normal."
That's true. That
Now,
is
you know
true.
the story. I was in Loves Park, Illinois, and the mayor of Loves Park is in the audience. And I said, "Hey, Mayor, what's your name?" He said, "Mayor Jury." I said, "Wow, when you have sex with your wife, does she call it jury duty?"
Oh my gosh.
And then
Which,
he
by the way,
said-
I was in that movie.
But hang on.
You were in
know
jury
you're always
duty?
plugging. But then he said to me, "Yeah, because she's always trying to get out of it." Now you were in that movie.
Oh my gosh.
Now you were in
No,
that
not-
movie, jury duty.
No.
Yeah.
No. No, it wasn't
You weren't in jury duty?
No, it wasn't jury duty.
No.
Here, I'll
It's
tell
12
you.
Angry Men.
I'll tell you a
Dead
great.
Man on Campus.
You were. I'll tell
Yeah.
you a great story about movies. Rodney Dangerfield had a movie called Ladybugs. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Soccer coach movie, yeah.
Yeah, and it was about a boy who dresses up like a girl to play on the soccer team. Who knew this was going to be a fulfilling prophecy? But anyway, I wrote a joke for the end of the movie, and he loved it. He said, "Man, you got to go in and you got to audition and do the line. I love the line, man." I said, "Okay, Rodney." So I go and do an audition, and one of the guys is Al Ruddy, who won an Oscar for a little thing called The Godfather. He's producing the film, and Sidney Fury's the director, big-time director. So I start doing the scene, and halfway through it, they stopped me, and they said, "No, it's not going to work." I said, "Oh, I'm not right for the part." And they said, "No, we're going to get rid of the part altogether."
Oh.
So not only did I not get the part, I had the
You
part
wiped it
removed.
out.
Yeah. you killed the fictional character, yeah.
That's really, you know what that is? That's committed.
Yeah, it is committed, and that's why I
That
want to
is
get a group of
committed.
comedians together and go to hospitals. But I'm going to start out small. I want to go to pet hospitals, so that way,
Well,
if they
what-
bark
tell
at us,
me-
we'll understand.
Tell me one of your worst audition experiences.
Oh, I've had a few.
We
I had
all
a
have
few.
them, I know.
You know, I went in for what movie was this? I'm trying to remember. Oh, it was Sister Act 2. And my manager knew Bill Duke, I believe, was the director of that. So I went in for the part. So I go to the casting. I think it's at Paramount or one of those studios. And the casting lady's 45 minutes late. She comes in and said, first thing she says to me, "Who you a friend of?" And I went, "Well, I'm not a friend. I'm just here to audition." "Okay, just go ahead and do it." "Okay, thanks. Bye." It's like they just went through the motions. And the thing I hate about auditioning, which I don't know.
La La Land is what
Yeah,
that's
well,
like.
the casting people are actually getting paid. They're being paid to be there. We're not. I always call this a free estimate because my dad painted houses and he goes somewhere and give them a free estimate. That's what we're doing. But you'd have to like clean up and look presentable. And, that's 3 hours out of your day and you have to go over the lines, and some of them you hire an acting coach. But so you shouldn't treat them that way, and if you don't want to see them, then don't see them.
And if you can just muster up enough to at least make them feel that their time is
Right.
is valuable and you respect their time, and I trust me when I say, it's not just a 3 hour day. It's the 4 days before that you got the sides, that you went over it, like you said.
Yeah.
It's driving anywhere in Los Angeles takes an hour, right? It's parking. It's then you're right, like you waited 45 minutes, and I can tell you I had hundreds of those, and I just think that movie La La Land really depicted that scene accurately when she's in there giving her entire self, Emma Stone, and she's really giving it her all. And, the assistant opens the door and it just breaks the whole scene. And it just was one of those moments. And I get it. That's why I asked you, because everybody has one of those stories.
Well, I had several of those. Another one was great. This is back in the early 80s. I was like 350 pounds. And I was put up for a Bob's Big Boy commercial. So I just went in my street clothes and I walk into the audition room and there's 8 guys dressed like Bob's Big Boy to the T, where their hair is curled up. And I walk in, I look around and I said, "You guys want it more than I do." And I walked it.
You did?
Yeah, there was no need for me to go in and do this. These guys were ready, And my favorite story is there's a comedian named Al Romas, and Al actually got a part. He's a Cuban guy, a Cuban comedian from Miami, and he got a reoccurring role on Miami Vice. And like you, like me, he went out on all these auditions, nothing. He finally got this role, and it's reoccurring. And he said, like about the 5th or 6th episode, he finally got the nerve to ask the producer, "Hey, why did you guys hire me?" And he said, "You're the only guy that came in with a mustache."
It's true, though. And I've been on the receiving end of, or I've actually been on the other side of the camera where I've watched auditions. And I actually was in this room where they were auditioning for bikers. They had a whole group of people that were bikers with not
Motorcycle, right?
Not but motorcycle, but
pedal bikers.
Yes, pedal bikers.
Cyclists.
And they actually cast the one guy that came in his jeans and a t-shirt. I swear.
Really?
The outfit requested by your agent was biker shorts and a t-shirt, and they cast the guy in his jeans because they got sick of watching the same person over and over again. So you just never know. And I've actually booked shows.
You're right. I guess I'm going to get my time machine and go back and do that audition for Bob's Big Boy. Thank you, Cory.
I'm just saying you probably would have gotten it. You're Bob Zany.
No, really, I did. I literally did over probably 1,000 commercial auditions. I only got one commercial, and in that
Which one
commercial,
was it?
I played a stand-up. It was for Sherman Williams Paint. So
Wow,
it's a tough business, you know,
1,000.
and it is. They don't know what they're looking for until they see it.
They don't. And I actually have told this story on the air. I went in for a Disneyland commercial and I was so nervous. It was my very first commercial. I was so nervous. I didn't know what to expect. They brought 5 people in at a time. Of course, they asked me to slate first. And I was just literally, I had like cotton balls in my mouth. And I didn't even know what slate meant, but I somehow pulled a rabbit out of my hat. And they said,
Well, if you
one
pull it out of
question.
your head, you're a really good magician.
I know. Well, they asked me one question. They said, "What's your favorite ride at Disneyland?" And I was like, so nervous. I said, "Oh, that it's," and I was thinking the Matterhorn, but I'm dyslexic. So I said, Magic Mountain. And the whole room laughed. And they thought I was actually, like, that's a whole other theme park.
Yeah.
And they booked me. I literally booked the part.
There you go.
So,
Yeah,
so you just never know. You
No,
just
there's,
never know.
there's no rules to any of this. When I auditioned for the movie The Informant with Matt Damon, the one I'm going to be putting up for the kids who are watching this at my Macari site, that's MERCARI.com. Look for the Bob Zany store. I went in and I read for one part, and the lady said to me, "Can you come back? Can you read this other part?" And so I left, and then I came back in and read another part. And then I actually got another part. So they liked me, but they weren't sure where I fit into the whole, you know.
Right.
So that you
That
don't.
happened to you on Book of Esther.
It happened to me on Book of Esther. Yeah. So question, because, you know, actors can go to acting class. They can have private coaches. We all have had that. But comedy is one of those things. It's like, you know, teaching someone to paint.
You can't teach funny.
Right. And so, but you say you've taught before. What would you say to a young kid that male or female that would want to enter into this arena that might not have necessarily the timing?
Look, kid, you're just not funny. It's
You
not
don't
for
want to
you.
break someone's spirit, and you never know, like he said.
Stop now is what I tell them. Stop now and get out. No, look here. This is what you tell them.
Wow.
It's all about stage time. Like I said, very few get it very young and click on stage. It may take you 5 years to even realize why you're up there, and another 5 to be comfortable in your own skin to be up there. It took me about 12, 15 years before I could work an audience and be very comfortable about it. Because it's a different level of confidence. But again, I started so young and I was so dumb and so naive, but I also was given so much success. Like I was hired at KLOS Radio in 1983, working with Fraser Smith as a DJ at KLOS. Now, to give you an idea why that's a big deal, I went to Mount SAC in Walnut, California, Mount San Antonio College, and I took a degree, an associate degree in radio and TV broadcasting. Well, they wouldn't let me read the news on the radio station to the signal that went out to the parking lot. And this is after 3 semesters, and I took all these classes, and I said, this is why I'm here. So I quit, which is kind of a regret. But anyway, a year later, I'm hired at KLOS. So, you don't.
You don't know. You just don't know. That's so great. It's really, it's. I had so many people tell me, "Oh, you'll never do this, or you'll never play a leading lady. You're too old, or you'll never." And 9 times out of 10, if you just press in and keep persistent and believe in yourself. Greg Lougain has told me that years ago. Believe in yourself. And even Lady Gaga reiterated it, and she said, all it takes is one person in the room to believe in you. And sometimes that's just you.
You believe in yourself, you get the part, then you call those people up and you say, ha, in your face.
No, you wish them well, and you go, you know what, you just didn't see what I felt. And that's just the way it is. And
yeah, I always say, another piece of advice I give to comics is, it's over when you say it's over.
That's right.
It's not over because so-and-so won't book you, or you didn't get that, or this. Right. It's over when you say it's over. So don't. I'm working on my autobiography, and I actually have a documentary. It's on Amazon called Close But No Cigar. And it's my look at my 50 years in show business, the first 50 years of my life. And I'm writing a book to cover that because we only got like 3% of everything in there.
Yeah.
But I'm playing with the title with it. It all started with the word no. Because it did. I auditioned for Star Search 4 times and they said no. And I finally got it after I did the Rodney Dangerfield HBO special, and the producers saw me on a plane and they're playing my clip. That's when I got a talent showcase.
Can you believe that?
So I could go down the line about whenever I heard no and it became yes. So it's fine. My favorite story is I used to play the Comedy Store, and Mitzi, had the Las Vegas room at the Dunes here in Vegas, and I wanted to play there really bad because all my friends were doing it from the store. So I showcased for Mitzi, and she said, "Bob, you're not a Vegas act." I said, okay. So then I went to the Improv, and I showcased for Bud to play Vegas. And after my set, Bud came up to me and said, "Bob, would you like to play Las Vegas?" So that no led to that yes, and then that led to me just playing the Improv. And, I always say the Ice House was my high school, the Comedy Store was my college, and the Improv was my graduate school. That's where I really learned my chops, and I got so much stage time. I did 7 evenings at the Improvs. I was a special guest star in like 4 of them. One of my favorite stories is Dave Chappelle's very first TV show he ever did was an evening at the Improv. He had to be 19, and he told me the story, and I forgot about it. But he said, who was in the audience when we taped that show? I said, no. He said, Nicole and OJ. OJ and really the audience. And I found that clip on TV, and they cut it. Bud was like Mr. Showbiz. So he points out OJ, and OJ stands up, and there's Nicole right there. How weird is that? Wow.
Yeah, that is weird.
Very weird.
But as you're talking, and I'm listening to all these things and writing stuff down, and you went on the Gong Show, which takes a lot of nerve. That takes a lot of guts. And you said that it took you 12 years to really hone and feel confident, but you had to have some kind of level of confidence at age 16 to go on a show where you're going to potentially be nationally known as being gonged off the show, right?
Well,
that takes a lot of confidence.
This is important. I got to tell this story. Everybody says to me, "Were you gonged?" No. I was pulled off stage by a man dressed like a nun with a big net.
That's exciting. Our next youngster, this next youngster will seem like your average, everyday, clean-cut American teenager. But believe me, underneath all those zits beats the heart of a kid who likes to tell basset hounds their mother was a shoe. Ladies and gentlemen, here comes Bob Zany Report.
Howdy, I'm Bob Zany Tetrol. You probably wonder how I got the name Zany. Well, that's a good question. Anyways, I'd like to read you a list of songs that I feel should have had these fictional groups behind them. Songs such as I've Got You Under My Skin by the Ticks, You're So Vain by the Blood Clots, Slow Dancing by the Influence, Gonna Get It Right by Lefty, The Sound of Silence by the Mutes, Catch a Wave by the Hellos, Do our money.
And to be rewarded for that, they call that a specialty act. And I actually got paid after scale of $125.98 and a waffle iron. And my parents, and my parents were very angry because we were a pancake family. But and I actually, the thing about the Gong Show is they brought it back on the Game Show Network about 15 years ago, and they started playing it. And my episode came in part as the best of the Gong Show, which was kind of cool. And if you watch
is it on YouTube?
It's on YouTube, and it's also the opening salvo in my documentary. It kind of like introduces me as this is what I want to do type thing. But if you watch the clip, I'm nervous as all heck. So the confidence wasn't really there, and the jokes aren't really bad for a 15-year-old kid. You know, it's like I go back and putting a paper bag over my body and saying I'm his half brother. That's pretty creative for a kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
The inklings of being a comedian. I just didn't have the chops, and that's where stage time comes in. And confidence is built by doing it over and over and over. And like I said, it's taken me forever.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, you've mastered it. That's for sure.
I don't know how many times I've been turned down for the Cory Oliver podcast, and she was waiting for me to finally make it.
You know, I had to find a spot for you. We had to someone opened up, so we were like, throw Bob Zany in there.
Yeah.
No.
I have a feeling that Mark Skippy Price canceled.
You know what's funny? This is our fourth recording today. We almost pulled a late night and said, sorry, our guest, we can't have time for him. Ran out of time for Bob Zany. We'll have him back sometime soon.
No, well, there's no way. I was like, we were too excited to have you. We love you and are grateful that you're actually taking the time for us. Tell us about the Drybar.
Well, the Drybar is really cool. It's and it's family friendly, so you can gather the whole family around the internet and watch it. So, and because I have an adult show too, but it's a great special. And here's the cool thing: it's I'm actually filming another one at the end of this month because it's so popular, and I'm going to do just the Zany Report. So we're going to have about 10 Zany Reports that are going to go out there. So, and we're doing it from a desk in front of an audience, and it's going to be really cool.
No, that is cool.
Now, it's in Utah, right?
It's in Provo, Utah.
Now, is it called Dry because there's no alcohol in the place, or that's just the name of the place?
That's why. It's Utah's. They have it's changed, but they used to have a thing called 3-2 beer, which really had hardly any alcohol and all that. And I don't think this place serves alcohol at all. But you film it like it doesn't matter. The people are really a great audience, and hopefully it'll be a full audience again because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
The COVID.
Do you know anybody?
Do they still have the pandemic in Utah? I thought they got rid of it there.
Oh.
Huh?
I don't know. Is that a subject you want to go into, Bob?
I said, is the pandemic still in Utah? Or they're maskless now, right?
I read this. This is interesting. The COVID-19 virus can live 4 days on a toilet seat, beating out Elvis by 3.
Yeah.
Told that joke in Memphis.
What was the one?
Oh gosh.
What was the one you did about? Oh God, the facial expressions.
What about facial expressions?
And Mickey Rourke. You had a joke about Mickey Rourke and the facial expressions.
Oh yeah, a dog can make 100 facial expressions, beating out Mickey Rourke by 99.
Yeah.
Oh, Mickey, we love you. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine.
Totally different Mickey.
Oh, Mickey Rourke?
Mickey Rourke is not the O Mickey from Tony Basil's O
Yeah,
Mickey.
Cheerleader.
I know.
Yeah, Tony Basil.
Tony Basil, very good.
Someone's
she's a singer.
On his game.
Yeah.
I know.
All right, you graduated 79. I graduated 84, so we're not that far apart.
Yeah, if I had completed college, I should have graduated by then.
Yeah.
84, but you were in 8th grade when I was a senior. Again, I'm doing the math in my head.
No math. You're quick. You're quick.
He is quick.
Numbers guy.
Huh? Wow, you're throwing me all off. Because I'm not a number.
Now wait a minute. So if
he asked you where you went to high school.
I went to in Philadelphia, a high school called LaSalle High School.
South High School in Philly. I love Philly. I actually I did a corporate show for Comcast there. I had a show called Comcast Comedy Spotlight We did about 40 episodes, and I was the host. A lot of great comics were on that, actually. And the late part of the 90s, early 2000s. But
so if you were a senior, if you're a senior and I'm in 8th grade, what grade do you think Cory was in?
Right.
Wow. Cory was actually in kindergarten.
Close.
Am I right?
You doing the math in your head? Cory doesn't like to tell it, but Cory's 67 years old.
I'm 67 years old. What's that?
You're 67?
Yeah,
I saw that Twilight Zone episode.
Bob, we like to ask a few questions on this show. Routine questions.
Routine. Okay. What? Oh, yeah. Cop?
Yeah. Just 3 words that I do. I screw this up every
Bob,
time.
she gets this wrong. I literally, and I'll show you when we stop this, on the wall is the sign of exactly what she should say, and she still can't get it right.
Wow.
Say it. 3 words that describe you.
So you go to him whenever you need a boost of some sort for your self-esteem.
Yeah. I'm a self-esteem guy.
You really are, Bob. Look, maybe she's just a little flustered right now. Maybe,
you're playing hurt, aren't you?
This tension.
Bob's on my side. Bob Zany's on my side, folks. I just want to let you know he's got my back. Thank you, Bob Zany. What's that?
What 3 words? Tell me, what do I need to do here?
If you could just give us 3 words that describe yourself, that would be great.
Wow. Big Dick McGee.
Oh.
That's called a compliment.
That is. That is. Okay. And we're speaking like as in Richard, Big Richard McGee. And then the last question, which is super silly, and don't feel obligated because I'm sitting right in front of you and you managed to get on our podcast with your busy schedule.
And by the way, that application process is, I still don't know why I had to send a stool sample. Go ahead.
That's going up on eBay.
Oh my gosh. No. Who's your celebrity crush?
Oh, Pink.
Oh, wow. That was like a, I don't want to do this.
The singer Pink. Who knew?
Yeah, I know.
Who knew?
Oh, no.
By the way,
I love her. Love her.
Great Facebook friends. Betty White's a Facebook friend, and Tom Jones is a Facebook friend, but that's not unusual.
Really,
Bob?
I get it.
I get it too. Betty White, I've actually met in person. She's wonderful too.
By the way, I love Betty White. I think she's hot. She's not a MILF. She's more of a MILF of magnesia.
Pink was a great answer, by the way. I actually am a huge fan of karaoke, and so Ariana and my daughter and I, we did Pink. We literally did her whole album.
Are your cookies done baking? Is that what that noise was?
No, I was giving you a correct answer.
Oh.
Okay. He has a whole thing going on over here.
What song do you have? Do you sing with your daughter?
Which Pink song? We sang them all. No more, Mr. Nice Guy. Na, na,
That's an Alice Cooper song.
Na, na. She redid it. She made it.
How about Long Road to Happy?
Yes, every one of her songs is a hit, and she's just amazing, and it's great karaoke.
One of those people that I would love to do a one-man show about my life, and then have her songs come on.
Yeah.
Describing that moment in my life. That was one of those. I have so many ideas, and I'm never going to get to them. So, Bob, why don't you do it?
I'll do them.
Hey, I actually appreciate the fact that you get the ideas in your head, and this is really what it's about. It's about just implementing them, taking the next step. I mean, you made 400 cards, dropped them off at Tower Records, and they sold out 6 days later. Like, that's a big deal, you know?
I think the toughest part about anything you do in life is focus. And because I am like all over the place with my ideas and thoughts, you can't do them all. So you do have to focus on what you do best, and then a project that you're working on. So my focus now is doing the Zany Report live, that's being filmed, because I do it every week on the radio to about 20 stations across the country. And so the material's not the problem, but what's the right jokes that's going to be visually appealing. But there's always great ideas. I mean, everybody has them, but they're really, if you can't do them all. it's kind of like my credits. And I'm not saying this to brag, but people will say things like, what have you done? And I always tell the comics introduce me, I say, what hasn't he done? Because I literally am so fortunate that I've done everything in this business. I've been in a music video with Julie Brown. I don't know if you remember a song called Homecoming Queen's Got a Gun.
Yes.
I was in
Julie Brown.
I've been in movies. I co-hosted the Jerry Lewis Telethon, the National, with Jerry and Ed McMahon and Casey Kasem for 17 years. I mean, I can go down. It's like, so I've done all this stuff, but I do all that too for experience and to learn what I'm doing. And that's the only way you get better at anything. You can't, you can't not, if you're not comfortable with the challenge you've been given, you should do it just because it'll make you a better person. Doesn't mean it's not going to succeed all the time, but
that's true. And that's true.
Why you have Bob there.
Yes.
Bob, Zany, you have been amazing, and I don't actually want to do this test. We've sort of been phasing it out, but I understand why Bob does. It's the Rorschach test. Have you ever done it?
Okay. Yeah, I know of it. I think it's a butterfly. Go ahead.
I love him.
Never
okay, so just say the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
What's that? Okay.
Nothing. I'm saying butterfly. Another. Oh, first thing. Boy, my pen needs some more ink.
Fair enough.
This is the last time I go on Tinder.
That's good. That's a good one.
You know, I was thinking about having turkey for Thanksgiving, but not this year.
These were good answers. I'm glad we did this test.
You know, I think this new Batman sequel is really going to pay off.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, last one.
Wow. That's Mickey Rourke with one facial expression.
And that, my dear friends, is a callback right there at its finest. Bob Zany, I want to be serious for 1 second.
Uh-oh.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Come back?
No, no. It's a pleasure to meet you, and I can't thank you enough for this hour. It's, I know that people are busy and you have a lot going on, and I want to tell you that I appreciate your time and I appreciate you spending it with us and getting to know you. And I really do mean this when I say, you were so very talented. You had me in stitches last night. And I was actually watching you on TV. He wasn't, for the audience, he wasn't really with me last night, but in my thoughts, you were. I was doing my research, and you really are truly a blessing to so many. Thank you.
And I do want to say one quick thing, because this is an interesting story, which kind of says it all about what we do for a living. This was like 1992. My wife and I were doing these TV shows in Miami, and they were the worst TV shows you could ever do. The guy that would hand us a script that had 5 words on it. He says, "What do you think?" So we end up having to write these scripts, and I was really depressed, and we're in a hotel room, and it's my birthday. So my wife ordered birthday cake, and I'm on the bed going, "What the hell are we doing with our lives? Why are we doing this show?" And this waiter comes in, and he looks over and says, "Bob Zany?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "I just got to tell you something. When my friend was on his deathbed, all our friends got together and to say goodbye to him, and you were on TV, and he was laughing so hard, and that's the memory we have of him, and I can't thank you enough." And then he left the room, and I went, wow. Yeah. And here I'm feeling sorry for myself. So I killed this guy. Anyway, had to get a joke in. I killed the man, though. But you don't know. So thank you.
No, you don't.
You're laughing when Bob kills a man. I kill a man, you get all upset.
I love Bob Zany.
Well,
I do. I really am grateful.
That's Bob's new ringtone.
I love Bob Zany.
Thank you very much, Cory. Appreciate it. And Bob, cheer up, okay? Because I haven't seen you.
Yeah, I'll try. Thanks.
I haven't seen you the whole time during this Zoom call, and I think it's for the best.
I'm actually in Philadelphia phoning this in.
No,
why wouldn't you be?
And we're out.
Are you ready to hear children laughing and playing outside again? Childrensbusinessfair.org is too. That's why they need your help to launch a children's business fair in your neighborhood. It's easier than you think. If you or your children will invite some friends and provide a safe place to showcase 5 or more booths, they'll provide the rest and up to $500 in prize money. It's a gift and celebration of the curiosity and drive of young entrepreneurs all around the world. Start your audition to host a fair in your community or find out more at podcast.childrensbusinessfair.org. Hi guys, I'm Cory Oliver and thank you for watching The Coriolis Effect. We hope you enjoyed the previous episode. Here are some more episodes you might enjoy. Hit the subscribe button below and have a great day.